Welcome back to another episode of the Football Management series where we're looking at classic retro games in the Football Manager aspect from the early 80s to the 90s and rare circumstances beyond. And we're in part two of the D&H Games special. If you remember part one, we looked at some classic games that D&H Games did, including the Football Director series and two other games as well, Cricket Captain and Grand Prix. Now this part two is going to be slightly longer because we're looking at more games. But we will look at some games that have already been featured in the Retro series, so I'll briefly mention them. And then we will look at a few games that have not been actually shown yet to you guys, so you'll get a sneaky peek of them, as I call them. So the first one we're looking at is Football Director 2-Player League, done 1986, just after Football Director. Basically, it's Football Director 1 with multiplayer game. So basically, you can have two people playing this. So you can see the screens look very similar to Football Director. The only difference is that in the actual menu screen, which if I show you just now, that's the actual, here we go. This is the one. If I just pause that now, I'm looking at a previous episode to get all this information. So you can see here, actually, this is episode 51. It came out. So you can see the difference is that two players can play at the same time. So we've got two teams here, Aldershot and Luton. So if you press the Z key, it's the Aldershot manager doing this. If you press the X key, it's the Luton manager doing this. And then as the game goes on, each side then has who their opponents will be. So it's a carbon copy of Football Director, the first game. But the only difference with this one is the obvious one, is that two players can play it. So a lot of this is very similar. You can, of course, sell players to your other manager if you want to, the other player. Transfer market is slightly different as well. They have to put in a little bit more details there. But again, you don't start off with that much money, and you just have to try go up the leagues. Of course, you've got the options of to do various things in the side as well, like hire coaches, hire youth team, get your youth team up to a playing standard so they can take part in the first 11 to replace your aging players. Completely up to you. And then, yeah, it's a fun game, especially if you got your friend who's playing the game with you. If you're by yourself, I wouldn't think why you'd be playing this game by yourself, to be honest, because then you would play it as you play the original Football Director, which is a one-player game, obviously. So we'll just quickly look at the goal scoring. Here is the match screen. You can see here that two matches are going on at the same time because this is for both players. So in this game, both players have lost their games. Luton losing to Lincoln, Aldershot losing heavily to Crewe. Yeah, it's. I think this will be a very enjoyable game for two players. So if you want to see more about this video, go back to episode 51 of the Retro series where you'll see this game being reviewed for 20 odd minutes. And yeah, let me know what you think. So the next game we're going to look at is International Manager. So as the name suggests, International Manager is the difference between that game compared to the other football games is that you are a manager of a country instead of a team. And as you can see here, you can select many countries and then try to take that country to international glory. Now this game came out in 1989, and this was also a game that's already been reviewed back in episode 31. So that's definitely around late 2023, early 2024, I think. Have to go back and find out more about it. So you get your options. It looks in some ways very similar to Football Director 1, and then you get your. This is the big difference: is you get a sort of like a pool of players' names, and so you get. If I just let the video, I'm trying to find it for you. Sometimes this play button does play up. No pun intended there. So you get a big pool of players, and then from that pool of players, you then choose who you want to take part in your team. So here I actually became the Welsh boss, which is slightly different because I normally do England. But you can see here you got your players, first team players, and then here are these hopefuls. So you go around, look at all the players, see who you want to replace, change your squad, and on to the right hand side, they've got the availability when they're available to play for your side. And then you try to take your side up to winning a game against other international countries. So I'm just going to show you a game. There's a lot of selections here actually. So here we go. It's going to be, oops, there we go. We're against Romania. It's we only saw that briefly, I'm afraid. So you've got a calendar of games you're playing. Romania, England are in this group. I think I was accepting friendlies. Here we go. Here's the match screen. So here is what the match screen looks like. As you can see here, it's different to the Football Director match screens. A little bit more detail, a little bit more of a commentary. Well, it's a lot. There is a commentary. There's no commentary in the Football Director games. And here, me being Wales against Romania in the European Championship qualifier, you get European Championship, and you also get the World Cup. Now, if you've been playing Football Director 1 and 2 quite frequently, then I would suggest give this a go. This is definitely a nice alteration game, a good alternative to the big 2 Football Director games, and I did enjoy this. It's quite detailed. It's got a lot in it. And I think you would actually enjoy playing this. But anyway, that's International Manager. We now go over to a game that hasn't been shown yet. So we're getting a sneaky pick. So the next game we're looking at is County Cricket, which came out in the late 1980s. And it was done obviously by D&H Games. Now this hasn't been released yet. This is going to be released in April 2026 in a full 35-minute episode. And basically, here you are in charge of a county, and again trying to lead them into glory. In this game, I actually put myself as I put Oxfordshire in because I'm from Oxfordshire. I put them in as one of the counties. Oxfordshire will never be in here because they are a minor county. They're not a full county, so they'll never get into the county championship. But I thought it'd be a nice little addition to put them in. And I tried to show you the match screen there, just that quickly went through the wrong screen here. Here we go. This is what the match looked like. Nothing spectacular. If you compared this to Cricket Captain, which was in episode 1, you could see it's only the scoreboard. You don't see actual batsman hitting the ball. You only see kind of like a commentary down there, and that's about it. It is not the most exciting thing to watch, I have to say, but it's still an enjoyable game. You can see that the graphics and the actual information on the screen is very similar, I would say, to if you go back to, I think it's episode 20, looking at Advanced Soccer Simulator, if you remember that. Go back to Advanced Soccer Simulator and look how that has been done compared to this game. As you would see, it's pretty similar in a lot of ways. The only difference being, obviously, is Advanced Soccer Simulator is football and this is cricket. Yeah. Again, this is going to be released in April 2026. It's going to have its own full episode, so it's worth looking at this. A good 35-minute episode of county cricket. And yeah, if you're a cricket fan, I think you would like this. If you're not really a big cricket fan, you would probably find this a little bit on the boring side, I think. But I actually didn't think it was too bad. But anyway, that is county cricket. So the next game we're going to look at is something completely different. Coming out in March 2026, D&H Games, we're going to look at a horse riding game or horse management game, and it's based on the Grand National, probably one of the most famous horse races in the world. The Grand National has between 30 and 40 horses going around a course at Aintree, which is near Liverpool in northern England, going around 30 odd fences, and the winner wins the national, of course. So here is what the actual screen of the cassette inlay looks, and I will obviously now go to the race itself. So this is a quick show of the racing screen. I've purposely turned all the sound off of all these episodes just so you could hear me, and so the music doesn't distract you, even though, to be perfectly honest with you, a lot of these games don't have much sound. Now in the National, the thing about this is that the National is just one of the races that feature in this game. There's a lot more races, and you have to do all these races before you get to the National. So it will take you quite a while to get to the National, and you have to also qualify to get to the National as well. But it's still something different. I think this was one of the first horse racing games I actually reviewed, and I did enjoy it, even though I don't know really that much about horse racing itself. One spoiler in this National episode, you don't actually see me in the National. You only see me doing a couple of the beginning races because it would take a long time to actually get to the National itself. So I wanted to show you the basic of the game anyway, as I always do in these videos. And yeah, it's if you're into horse racing management, the National is definitely a game to look out for, especially when I will release the episode in April 2026. So anyway, that is the National. The next one we can look at is another game completely different. Also coming out in April 2026 in this review series, we're looking at Championship Golf, which was released in 1988. So basically, you're playing golf around the course. Now, if you can remember what I said in episode 1 about this sort of like a line technology in some ways of the flight of the ball, this happens a lot in Championship Golf. Now, I remember playing this, and let's just put it this way, this game goes on for such a long time because you literally have to go onto each hole, hit the golf ball, try getting a hole, and go through each ball about 3-4 times, each 18 holes 3-4 times, because you have to do a complete round to try to qualify for the future rounds. Now it's a great little game. It's a great management game, but you need to put a lot of time in this. And for those who just want a game that goes on for about a minute or two, this is definitely not one of those games because, like, as I said before, each round goes on for a long time. But you start off as a beginner and you try to qualify for the big open tournaments like the Open and the American, the PGA, the US Open, stuff like that. But you always start from the beginning. So you can see here that this is just round 1. This is hole 8 of 18, and then you and someone else take turns to try and hit the ball into the hole. You can do it by the line technology here. This is me recording, so you can see that's me on the recording. This is me now, and there's you. You start up there, and then this is the flight of the ball. Stops there. Then you take another. See, there we go, and then another, and another. You've got no control of this. This is the game doing it itself, and this is actually me when I was doing this recording. I did this on a very fast speed because it was taking such a long time. So this is actually times 4 or times 6, something like of normal speed. And you can imagine that in each tournament you had to do at least 2 rounds of 18 holes, and then if you qualify at the cut, you do another 2 rounds of 18 holes, and each 18 holes would take normal time 15-20 minutes, and I'm not kidding you. So hence why I had to speed up on this recording. This actual episode itself is nearly 30 minutes long, and this is even when I'm on fast speeds. But it's an interesting game though, and it's nice to see D&H Game doing some alternatives, the National being another one. And I did enjoy playing this, even though, yeah, it is a very slow game. Now, the last one we're going to look in this special is a game called Touchdown by Teenage Games, which by the time of this recording, I haven't actually recorded an episode. So I'm going to record a live bit of the episode now for you to see in here. So I'm going to try this game for the very first time. Touchdown, of course, is an American football game, and it was never released. It wasn't released because by the time the game was made, D&H Games actually ceased to exist. So we're going to go straight to that now. So the final game we're going to briefly look at is a game that was never released. It was called Touchdown, and it's by D&H Games. Obviously, I think roughly this was done in about 1991, 1992. Not much information about this game other than what we got here on the Spectrum Computing site. Now, by the time of this recording, Touchdown I haven't actually recorded an episode of it. I did briefly try it, trying to get this into this special, but I hit a lot of problems. Basically, lack of details, lack of what the keys do and stuff like that, and my limited knowledge of American football didn't really help either. But I wanted to put this in briefly because it's worth mentioning about Touchdown. So you can see here on Spectrum Computing, it was going to be done by Tim Blacklock on DH Games. It wasn't released because by the time it was made, DH Games folded, so they never released it. But here on Spectrum Computing, you can play the game if you wanted to. So there's always the option you can go back and play it, and if you do play it, then let the people know how great the game was or would have been. Anyway, so here is the actual, really the only preview, I suppose, of Touchdown, and you can read it here, what they said about it. Again, I wasn't an American football fan, so I didn't really know much about this game. I only found really about this game quite recently that this was actually made, and yeah, it would have been quite interesting to see how well it would have done if it was fully released, but I was quite surprised it wasn't taken on by a budget label after D&H Games got folded. But I thought it'd be good to mention about Touchdown. So anyway, that is the end of part 2 of this D&H special. Let me know what you think. If you enjoyed going back to all these games that D&H Games did. Let me know which one was your favourite. Comment. Be great if you do comment. Like and subscribe if you haven't done so before. Be great to hear from you. And thanks for tuning in. Donut Danny saying goodbye. What are your thoughts about this game? Please let me know in the comments. Many thanks for watching this video. Greatly appreciated. If you like this channel, please send me a like or subscribe.